everybody watching on our Facebook page. It's another Star 99.9 Acoustic Happy Hour. I'm so happy about our guest today, Forest Blakk. How you doing, man?
Hey! I'm doing great. Always forget that, like, wait, they can't see me.
Right, I know. It's crazy. I've been saying this so much that I'm doing these like every week. And a lot of these artists, you know, like yourself, I haven't met in person yet. But it almost feels a little more intimate when we get through a screen. Because I feel like I FaceTime with my friends and family all the time. And it almost feels more oddly intimate than doing a person in person. Do you feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, I forgot what it's like to hang out with people in person. But I missed it so much. So hopefully this is temporary. But yeah, it took a second to kind of catch my bearings with doing, whether it's like a live stream or just everything on FaceTime. You know, I think kind of. I mean, I've been touring so long and that I guess you kind of get used to it a little bit. Like I remember like FaceTiming my dog and stuff, you know?
Yeah. That's so funny. Well, we love your song here. We're playing it on the station, and I was first introduced to you a little behind the scenes for people watching. We did one of these Zoom calls with your label and a bunch of other radio people. And I was so inspired by your storytelling and your passion. You know, there's not a lot. It's hard to find people that have so much passion in what they do nowadays. And I was just so inspired by that. So
thank you.
That must help you write songs and create music, right? I mean, you're so passionate about it.
I think that, yeah, I mean, I think that, well, first of all, thank you. I mean, it's such a wonderful compliment, to be honest. But I think that for me, I'm just one of those really emotional guys. And every song that I put out reflects that. So I think, yeah, in a lot of ways, it definitely helps. But, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side, I suppose. So sometimes I wish I could turn it off for just like a minute. I'm like, why am I so emotional about something that most people are just kind of cool with?
It's almost like it consumes your life. You know, I think that's with anybody, like whatever, you know, it's sort of like everything like, do you find yourself everything that you experience, like thinking of song ideas for it or lyric ideas or things like that?
I don't know if I think of like song ideas or song lyrics. I mean, those come in all the time as well. I think that it just sometimes life can almost seem not microscopic, but something kind of close to that. Like sometimes I'm looking at things maybe through a different lens, or I'll find something beautiful and something that's kind of rugged, you know? So it's to be honest, I mean, it's kind of a beautiful thing where you like imperfections become just the most beautiful parts of the world. You know, I don't know. Yeah. It's just kind of the way I guess I look at things. But with that same breath, you know, sometimes the hard stuff, you're like, the way you experience something that's difficult, it's in the same way. It's like, wow, it's pretty intense. Yeah. So, and it does come through with the music, I'm sure. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And you started to play guitar at 15 years old. And do you remember because I remember when I first started to play around with the guitar, I can only still play about 3 chords. But do you remember what songs you tried to play at first? Because I think everybody sort of has that where they try to work out songs that they like or.
Yeah, well, it's so funny you asked that. I don't know if I've ever been asked that. The first thing I ever wrote was kind of like, or the first thing I ever played was kind of like how I write. It's just, I heard something when I hit my guitar strings that made me feel really intensely. I was like, wow, what is that feeling? Mm-hmm. And so the first thing I ever did was just like kind of poured out something that I was feeling. So I didn't learn someone else's stuff. And I never took lessons or anything like that. Not for any choices. In fact, it just wasn't.
Just really how it happened. Yeah.
Just how it happened. Yeah. But I do remember when I first started, like when I was like, man, how do they play that? It was Nirvana.
Oh, okay.
I was like, how do they play that song? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so it probably Smells Like Teen Spirit or something like that, or Lake of Fire. Or I was like, what? How do they do that? That's so cool.
It's funny because for me it was either Green Day or Blink-182. Those chords, because their songs are so easy. Exactly. And now my wife and I have a 2-year-old, so now it's just a lot of Baby Shark and Wheels on the Bus is what I mess around with.
I think what we should do is try and get a hold of the Blink guys and be like, hey, can you just do a Blink-182 version of Baby Shark for us?
That would be amazing. All right, you don't have to play Baby Shark, but do you want to play a song real quick?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let me jump in it. I've been trying out this new thing. Let me know if this sounds all right for you and your listeners. But I've been doing so many live streams, and I've been doing everything straight acoustic. But then this week I was like, why don't I just put a microphone on? I'm in my studio. Why don't I just put a microphone, add some little reverb, and create a little moment? And
nice.
So I did.
I love it.
It sounds like this. Does that sound nice?
It sounds good. Yeah.
So I'll play If You Love Her first, because you guys are playing If You Love Her. It's kind of my way of saying thank you.
Nice.
And if anyone's listening to this, just really listen to the words. Maybe you need to hear them as much as I did at one point. Take it. She gives you her heart, don't you break it. Let your arms be a place she feels safe. And she's the best thing that you'll ever have. She always has trouble falling asleep, and she likes to cuddle while under the sheets. She loves pop songs and dancing and bad trash TV. There's still a few other things. She loves love notes and babies, likes giving gifts, has a hard time accepting a good compliment, and she loves her whole family and all of her friends. So if you're the one she lets in, take it. She gives you her heart, don't you break it. Let your arms be a place she feels safe in. She's the best thing that you'll ever have. She'll love you if you love her on days when it feels like the whole world might cave in. Stand side by side and you'll make it. She's the best thing that you'll ever have. She'll love you if you love her like that. And kiss her with passion as much as you can. Run your hands through her hair whenever she's sad, and when she doesn't notice how pretty she is, tell her over and over so she never forgets. Take it. She gives you her heart, don't you break it. Let your arms be a place she feels safe in. She's the best thing that you'll ever have. She'll love you if you love her on days when it feels like the whole world might cave in. Stand side by side and you'll make it. She's the best thing that you'll ever have. She'll love you if you love her like that. She'll love you if you love her like that. She'll love you if you love her. She'll love you if you love her like that. Oh, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. She'll love you, she'll love you. She'll love you if you love her on days when it feels like the whole world might cave in. Stand side by side and you'll make it. She's the best thing that you'll ever have. She'll love you if you love her like that.
Yeah. Mike sounded great.
Sounds not too bad.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was awesome. And if people, by the way, anyone watching who hasn't checked out the Meghan Trainor version yet that you just put out, I mean, it's so good. So I've had the chance to talk to her a couple times in something like this, like an interview. She's the nicest person, but your voices together.
So nice.
Your voices sound so good together. So can you tell us a little bit about how that came about? Did you know her ahead of time? How did that come about?
No, I knew nothing. Like, I know of Meghan, of course. And
yeah.
I've worked with some of the same people as her. It's Meghan Trainor, man. How do you not know Meghan?
Right.
And, it's funny because like maybe a couple weeks ago, someone had asked me, they go, so like, who's the biggest like celebrity who's like slid into your DMs to be like, I love your song. And at the time, like, I don't know. I don't really get starstruck by anybody, but I'm like, this is cool. Like, like Jenna Elfman is a friend now. And, Mo Collins from Mad TV and, my friend Karen David now from Walking Dead and stuff like that. So like, it's really cool. But it's not to take away from that. Like, it's awesome, but it's like, they're cool people. But then I was sitting there and it was like a Friday afternoon, and all of a sudden my phone goes off in Instagram and it just says Meghan Trainor. And so I don't know if this is like real, but I'm like, and I look at my girlfriend, I was like, hey, hon, I think Meghan Trainor just DM'd me. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, maybe it's a fake account. I don't know. And so I open my DMs and I see Meghan Trainor and I click and it's like 11.8 million. And I'm like, what is happening here? And the first message is, I am your biggest fan and your song is so good. And I'm like, I don't even have the time to think about it. And I send her a voice note being like, hey, it's like, wow, thank you so much. And she sends me her number and she says, text me. Like, and she's like, I did the second, I like put my vocals on already. I was so confused. And so I text her and sure enough, she sends me a version of it with her vocals on it and a new second verse. And I was taken aback because this is the most amazing thing ever for someone to do that. And yeah, then we've just been chatting back and forth and she's a real human and been super kind. And she just had a baby too. So it's like, this is like, that's crazy.
Isn't it crazy how in 2021 something like that can happen between two artists, whereas 25 years ago you would have had to go through managers and studio time and like all this stuff, and now with the power of technology, it can happen just through a DM on screen. It's crazy.
It is so crazy. It's so unexpectedly cool, man. Like it's just one of those. It just shows how small this whole world is and how connected we really can be. And when the right moment is there, and I mean, dude, it's the coolest thing in the world. I just got to be honest, like I'm pinching myself even right now. Like every day I wake up, maybe this is that enthusiasm that you felt when you connected the first time. It's just, is this real? Like, is this really happening? And it's blowing my mind every single day, because when you sit there and you're a teenager, and for me, and I have I'm not like fixed on trauma or sadness. My upbringing was tough and rough, and I was at a disadvantage at the time, but those disadvantages were all these advantages later on in life. I just didn't know that quite yet. But when you're sitting in that moment and it's kind of lonely and dark and you're not quite sure how to feel, and especially when you're in your formative years and you're like, hey, trying to turn into a decent human being, you don't know that the future is going to open up a door like this. And so every day I'm sitting here just in shock, because this wasn't really my life's plan. It wasn't what was set before me. And so it's been really special. And so every day I'm like, even just being able to talk with you guys, and I can't believe there's a place in America that cares. And they're halfway around the world, and we're doing a Zoom, and this is, man, it's so cool.
It's crazy. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I love your enthusiasm for it. And speaking of that, your live stream of you driving up to San Francisco to hear the song on the radio. I had heard about it, and I pulled it up, and I figured it was only going to be a couple minutes, and I saw that it was like 15 or 17 minutes, and I was like, what could possibly be happening in this whole video? And I watched the entire thing. I was so riveted by it. Now, I don't know if that's because I'm a radio nerd, and I grew up working on radio, and I loved that. But can you talk a little bit about how special it is, even in this world of technology, to hear your song on the radio for the first time?
Yeah, well, for me, it was, you only get like these first opportunities once, as cliche as that sounds, like, but you only get your once, or your first once. And I think being in quarantine for the past year and being isolated and locked in, for all these great things to be happening, it's overwhelming in the most beautiful way. And when I found out that my song, I put out If You Love Her, and you never know as an artist that a song is going to do anything. Like, you think, and you're like, wow, I really poured my heart into this. This really means something to me, and people like it or seem to like it. But I mean, at the time, maybe I was getting like 60 plays consistently, like all the time on, like, let's say a Spotify or something like that, or an Amazon or Apple or what have you. And now, like today, I looked and I'm at like 1,500 spins every second. It's like, wow, it's crazy. And so you never know what's going to happen. So for it to get onto radio in America, again, I'm Canadian, so I'm like from a place that's a tenth the size of America as far as population. And you dream of like having a song on American radio. And so when I found out that they were playing it in San Francisco, I was like, I was like, I can't miss this. Like, I need to hear my song. Like, there's something so nostalgic and amazing and cool about being in your car. Like, you're for a lot of people, your first kiss is in your car. Your first car that you get is such a special thing. You remember your first summer with your first car. You remember what was on your playlist or radio, or you remember all these moments, and that's a special moment. So anyway, long story short, I was sitting here with my girlfriend. We hadn't done anything during quarantine, and I just said, "Why don't we drive up to San Francisco? Why don't we go drive there?" And that's
about it's what, a 8-hour drive, 7-hour drive?
Yeah, it's like it took us. I think it took us 7 hours.
Wow.
And you know, we were like, we'll just drive up and we'll drive right back down. And we drove up, and it was, I guess, maybe a testament to the song itself. It's like, it's those little moments that you do with a couple, like as a couple rather, that really forge or solidify your relationship. Instead of like tuning in here from my computer and going, wow, that was cool. You know, here it was me and my girlfriend and I, rather, driving to San Francisco, overlooking the painted ladies from Full House and the entire city behind it. And we even invited, you know, I love my fans. I'm very close to my fans. And I invited a fan out she was in her car across the street, and we just watched it all together or listened to get to it together. And man, it was emotional. It was,
it's a real experience. That's so great. And
like, what a cool thing to happen.
Yeah. And if people haven't seen the video, it's up on your Instagram. You can watch the live stream. It's really neat to watch on Forest Instagram.
Yeah, be careful. You'll end up watching 18 minutes of it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Do you want to do another song real quick?
Yeah, let's do another song.
Cool.
So sometimes you think you're a fool for falling in love. Sometimes you think you're a fool for trying to keep love when it's fallen away from you, and something in between. That's what this whole song is about. Maybe you're a fool. It's called Foolish. I said that with such sass. It's foolish. Tell me something. Tell me, have you given up? I see you running. I don't know what you're running from. It hurts me to know there's no easy fix, and I hate that you feel like this. But I'll tell you something, I am never giving up. 'Cause when I see you, I see forever. Call me foolish, thinking I'd find a way. And it's so useless, trying to hold back the wave. But what can I do? What can I say? When the truth's staring me in the face. Love is ruthless. Maybe I'm just foolish. While I might be crazy, I might be in over my head, trying to keep us steady, standing on a jagged edge. But I'd give it all just to go back. Now I'm watching this fall through the cracks. But I promise you, darling, I swear I'm never giving up. 'Cause when I see you, I still see forever. Call me foolish, thinking I'd find a way. And it's so useless, trying to hold back the way. But what can I do? What can I say? When the truth's staring me in the face. Love is ruthless, or maybe I'm just foolish. If it all goes down in flames, you can tell me I was insane, but then that we could have had it all. Call me foolish, thinking I'd find a way. And it's so useless, trying to hold back the pain. But what can I do? What can I say? When the truth's staring me in the face. Love is ruthless, and maybe I'm just foolish, and maybe I'm a fool. Hey. What can I do? What can I say when it's you staring me in the face? Love is ruthless. Maybe I'm just foolish.
Yeah. What a great
Thank
song.
you so much.
Thank you for playing
Yeah,
that.
I love that song
awesome.
so much, man. It's I mean, all songs are just so cool.
Yeah, it's so good. I was just imagining, seeing that live because I think I'm just itching to see live music again in person.
Oh,
Which
God, me too.
you must be. I can only imagine as an artist, as a concert goer myself, I want to go, but as an artist, you must be wanting to play in front of your fans again.
Oh my God, like it's my favorite part. It's
yeah,
like it's a double-edged thing always with me. I was supposed to be on tour with the Goo Goo Dolls. I was supposed to have played all of America, and like I was supposed to go back home to Canada and play. And it was a really exciting idea of like hitting some of these stages I played before, like Red Rocks or the Greek and everything in between. But to be honest, the most exciting thing about doing all these has been just the people that you meet. It's everyone from like the waiters and waitresses at diners you stop in, or like the hole in the wall spots in each city, or it's the gas station attendant, and then it's the people that come to the shows. And there's this beautiful thing about being an artist is that you're literally you're the soundtrack to people's memories. So it's a beautiful thing, like especially when I've been an opener for other bands, a lot of times I'm like some kid's first concert. I'm the first artist they've ever seen, and that to me blows my mind. Or
that is neat.
I'm someone's like first kiss. I'm someone's first dance right now. Like that's kind of the beautiful thing about even you guys and your station and all the other stations playing my song, is that it's a soundtrack to other people's memories. And now people are using it in their weddings, and or to say I love you to somebody, or every other song that I have, people are using them to go, hey, I connect with this and I want to share this in this capacity. But when you get to play live, like I love that feeling and the high that I get, and I fuel up from it. But as soon as I get off that stage, man, I live to give it back to each person that comes up and gets to meet me at the merch booth. And I end up being more often than not the last person at the venue, and people are like, we need to go, Forest. And I'm like, I know. I'm like, we need to talk to these people, it's such a special thing,
Yeah, hopefully that comes back soon, because we would love to have you up here in Connecticut. We have so many great venues in this area.
Oh my God, I would love that.
Between New York City and then where we are here in Southern Connecticut. So hopefully shows come back soon, and you'll be back out on the road.
I would love that more than anything. And I'd love to meet, what do you call it? Is it a Connecticutite? Is it a Connecticut?
So we're called the Nutmeg State. So some people call them nutmeggers. But really people just say I'm from Connecticut. It's really interesting in Connecticut because Southern Connecticut really associates with New York, New York City. And then halfway in Connecticut, there's like a line, and then Northern Connecticut associates with Massachusetts, which is where I'm from, Massachusetts. So there's like a distinctive like break in the middle of the state between New York and Massachusetts. It's really funny.
Well, I'm excited to come and explore this place.
Yeah, it's New England for you.
I feel like Connecticut embodies my part Italian and part Irish roots. I feel like
exactly.
Southern Connecticut's all like my Italian side. Like,
there you go.
Lots of hand movements,
Yep. All right, awesome. Well, do you want to leave us with one more song? I don't want to pressure you.
Yeah. Let me. This is one of those special songs that just kind of came out of nowhere and was born before lunch, as we like to say. And it's been fun because during quarantine, going and doing live streams, I brought my girlfriend in to kind of sing. And well, I didn't tell her I was going to do this to her, but I asked the fans, like, hey, do you want her to sing? And she did. And it's this beautiful moment. And it's just one of those songs that when you look at somebody in the eyes and you fall in love with them because of the way they're falling in love with you. And that's the whole song. And it was kind of cool that it happened in real life. So I just wanted to share that because people listening, if you're listening and you're with somebody that you love, just look them in the eyes during the song and then fall in love all over again. That's what I hope. It's called I Saw Love. They say you'll know when you find her, when your heart starts racing faster than your mind. Oh, and mine does. Oh, yes, mine does. It's nearly bursting at the seams, and I don't mind. There's no easy way of knowing. I just couldn't help but show it. 'Cause you were busy throwing arrows at my heart. When I saw love, love, love in your eyes. I saw love, love, love in your eyes. You stole my heart, and I don't mind it. 'Cause I saw love, love, love in your eyes. They say you'll know when you'll find him. When your eyes open so wide it's nearly blind. And you won't mind it, 'cause he reminds you of all those fairy tales you thought you left behind you. There's no easy way of knowing. I just couldn't help but show it. 'Cause you were busy throwing arrows in the dark. And sometimes you just know it, even though it's hard to show it. Because a fire never starts without a spark. Baby, you're my spark. 'Cause I saw love, love, love in your eyes. I saw love, love, love in your eyes. You stole my heart, and I don't mind it. Oh, oh. I saw love, love, love in your eyes. I saw love, love, love in your eyes. I saw love, love, love in your eyes. And you stole my heart, and I don't mind it. No, I don't. 'Cause I saw love, love, love in your eyes. They say you'll know when you find her. When your heart starts racing faster than your mind does. Oh, when mine does. Oh, yes, mine does. It's nearly bursting at the seams, and I don't mind it. Oh, no, 'cause I saw love, love, love in your eyes. I saw love, love, love in your eyes. Oh, no, my heart, and I don't mind it, no, I don't. I saw love, love, love in your eyes. And you saw love, love, love in mine.
Nice. What a beautiful song.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
That's another one I can imagine people using in their weddings or first dance, or definitely.
I hope so. You know, I think if anybody listens to these songs, I just hope that they enjoy them for whatever moment they're in. Sometimes you need a song to cry to, sometimes you need a song to laugh to, and everything in between. And that's kind of what I aim to do. Just be the moment for somebody's memory as best I can.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Forrest, for being part of this moment with us today. Thank you for taking the time to do this for us. It means a lot to us.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. I'm looking forward to coming up to where you guys are and meeting everybody, both South and North, getting a little bit of the New York and a little bit of the Mass. And
I know, I can't wait. You know, hopefully that happens soon. And we're known for our pizza here, so I don't know if you're a fan of pizza, but we can go get.
If you're not a fan of pizza, we have to talk.
Exactly, that's what I always say. We got some of the best here, so we'll get a couple slices when that happens.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for having me. Thanks for playing my song, and to all the people out there listening, thank you for listening. Find me, say hi. I'm a real person, and I do my best to message everybody back. So.
Yeah, give Forrest a follow. Check out his music. He's the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure.